Hello students, today I am going to continue with the chapter A Gift of Chappals. This will be the third part of our session. Let us recapitulate a little bit. This is a story about Mridu and her cousins and how they have little adventures along the way. As the story opens, we find that Mridu has come to her aunt's place, Rukumani's house, and there she is met by Ravi and Meena, and they tell her about a secret which they have. The secret is that they have found a stray kitten and now they have secretly kept the kitten in the backyard of their house. Okay, and Ravi is also very sure that the kitten has a royal ancestry. Towards the end of the page number 20, we find that Ravi is describing to Mridu that the cat is actually a descendant of the royal cat of Mahabalipuram, Rishi cat of Mahabalipuram. And then to prove his point about the rich ancestry of the cat, he also says that, if I may just remind you, they worshipped cats in ancient Egypt. That is, probably this cat is also something worth worshipping, and this is the reason why he has named the cat Mahendran, M.P. Punai. You remember the name? M.P. Punai is actually the short for the full name of the cat, which is Mahendra Varma Pallava Punai. Okay, so Ravi feels very happy about his proposition, about his opinion about the cat. Now let us continue with today's session. Please follow the book, page number 21. How he loved the sound of his own voice. So Ravi loved the sound of his own voice. He loved to listen to himself speaking. Okay. But Mridu was kind of not really understanding why Ravi is giving such a big detail about the cat's ancestry. So she is telling, what does that have to do with anything? Mridu demanded. That is, what has the fact that, may I remind you, cats were worshipped in Egypt? This is what Ravi said previously, right? So Mridu is asking him rather, that what has this got to do with this particular cat? Then Ravi continues, I'm telling you, this cat is descended from the Egyptian cat god. No, goddess, Bastet. Yeah, that's it. So that is the name of the goddess. Okay, goddess of the Egyptian cat god. Okay, and he remembers that it's not actually a god but rather a goddess, a female incarnation. Then Mridu again says, so, well, one of the descendants of that cat goddess was a stowaway in one of the Pallava ships. This is also an information which is new to Mridu, and it is something which is probably exclusive to Ravi. The scholar that he is, he has somehow got this information that one of the cats from the ancient Egypt, that is descendants of that cat goddess, one of the descendants of that cat goddess was a stowaway. A stowaway means a secret. Okay, the cat secretly came in one of the Pallava ships. And his descendant was the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat, whose descendant is, Ravi flourished his twig at Mahendra. So he was carrying a twig all the time, if you remember, and at this point he flourishes the twig like this, showing to the cat that whose descendant of that Rishi cat is M.P. Punai here. Whoop! Eek! He shrieked, very pleased with himself. So Ravi is as if performing in front of a live audience. He is so happy with his proposition. Mahendra, the cat, looked up, alarmed. Alarmed, that means it was an unusual activity. Somehow he got astonished for some reason. And so he was alarmed and he looked up. He had just been sharpening his claws on the edge of the coconut shell. If you have noticed a cat's activities, if some of you have seen any cat, observed any cat, you would see that they have a habit of sharpening their claws. Okay, the claws that they have, they try to sharpen it. So this cat here also does the same thing. So he was sharpening his claws on the edge of the coconut shell. Remember the coconut shell? What was it used for? It was used for giving milk to the kitten, right? Okay. So he was using that coconut shell in order to sharpen his claws. Okay. But worse than Ravi's awful whoop-eek, that is, that sound which was made by Ravi was really very annoying. But there was a sound which was even more annoying than the sound made by Ravi. Was a creech from the window. That is, they got a creech sound from the window. What a weird sound. If Mridu was startled, MP Punai was frightened out of his wits. That means out of his usual self. That is, he was completely confused and anxious. Okay, because he was frightened because of that sudden alarming sound. What was that sound? There was a shrieking sound which was coming from the window. Now let us find out what that source is, the source of the sound. If Mridu was startled, that means Mridu was startled. She was taken aback. And MP Punai was afraid, frightened. Hair standing on end. That means he was so frightened that he had goosebumps all over his body and the hairs on his body were standing on end. He bounced up and scurried towards a bamboo tray of red chilies that has been set out to dry. Okay, so he bounced up, he jumped up and he scurried, means moved very fast. Scurry means to move very fast. So he moved very fast towards what? A tray was kept, a bamboo tray was kept where red chilies were being dried out. Okay, so he went towards that. Trying to hide beneath it, he tipped a few chilies over himself. Now chilies were there placed on the bamboo tray. He tried to hide underneath the tray. Okay, so while doing that, some of the chilies fell on top of him. So he howled miserably. Howling sound is made by cat when they are in pain, right? So he made a sound like that. Meow. That same sound was going on. Remember the source of the sound, we have to find out where the sound was coming from. The creaking went on and on. That creaking sound, that very much unpleasant sound which was coming, a screaming, screeching kind of sound, it was going on. What's that noise? Asked Mridu. So Mridu wanted to know what that noise is. That's Lalli learning to play the violin. So Lalli is one other cousin in their house who is trying to learn to play the violin. Now, learning violin can be a tricky thing. Okay, find out about it. Find out how learning violin can be tricky because it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience as well as talent to master the art of playing pleasant music from the violin. So, Lalli was trying to play the violin, but actually the sound which was coming out from that was not a very pleasant one. So, grunted Ravi. That's Lalli learning to play the violin, as if he was not happy with the fact that Lalli was trying to learn the violin. Okay. She'll never learn a thing. The music master just goes on playing like a train whizzing on and on, while Lalli is all the time derailing, going completely off the track. Something which is very difficult. Okay, when your teacher, music teacher, is trying to teach you something but you are completely out of the track because that teacher is going, that music teacher who is playing violin is playing smoothly, but it's too smooth and too fast for Lalli to learn anything. So the last line of this paragraph tells us that Ravi is not happy with the fact that Lalli is practicing an instrument which is clearly difficult for her to master. And it is obvious that she will never learn a thing because the teacher, the music teacher, the person who is teaching her violin is not able to make her understand how to play it properly. Okay, so here we end today's class. I will be again recapitulating this part of the story, and obviously the comprehension check question answers will be provided to you. Okay, thank you.